Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Hanum from English Education, Faculty of Language, Arts and Culture, Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta, with student ID number 23020330097. And today I will present and analyze the introduction section of the academic article. The title is Artificial Intelligence in Academic Translation, a comparative study of large language models and Google Translate. This written by Muhammad Ali Mohsen and was published in Psycholinguistic Journal in 2024. In my presentation, I will divide the introduction into four main parts: background, research gap, purpose, and research questions. For each part, I will explain the content and also explain why each part is categorized as such. First, I already took a screenshot to the introduction section, and it can help me to analyze and make it one frame. We can look at the first sentences. The author begins by stating, "The rapid advancement of technology has had a profound impact on various aspects of human life, including the field of translation studies." Here, he introduced the general topic, how technological progress has affected translation, and this belongs to background because background usually provides a broad introduction to the field, sets up the context, and shows why the topic is important. And then he continues by saying, for many years, researchers, as highlighted by Kuak, 2006, have been striving to automate the translation process, aiming to convert text from a search language to a target language. However, this endeavor has been challenged by the complexity of human language, which includes nuances and idiomatic expressions unique to each language. Okay, this part is still categorized as background because it explains the general problem that exists in the field and that automating translation is difficult due to language complexity. And in background sections, authors often introduce both the field and the general challenges that exist. Next, the author adds, the emergence of statistical machine translation (SMT) in the late 1980s rekindled optimism in the field, and then the landscape of MT underwent a transformative change with the introduction of neural machine translation (NMT) by Google in 2016. And I think this is also a part of background because here the author describes previous developments in the field, which is a common element of background, and this shows how machine translation technology has evolved over time before arriving at the present research situation. In summary, this section is background because the field states the problem broadly and describes previous developments that led to the current research topic. Okay, next, the author then moves into the research gap. It's start with, in recent years, the advent of large language model, LLM, particularly the generative pre-trained transformer, ChatGPT developed by OpenAI, has further revolutionized the field. Initially designed as a conversational interface, ChatGPT has demonstrated a wide array of functionalities beyond dialogic interactions, including translation capabilities. Okay, this is categorized as research gap because the research gap highlights what has not yet been fully studied. Here, the author introduced a new development as ChatGPT, but implies that even though it has shown translation capabilities, its performance in academic translation, especially between English and Arabic, has not yet been fully examined. So this part is research gap because it presents what is missing or underexplored in current research. Next, here we can look at the sentences. The author then states the launch of the new AI tool has motivated researchers to investigate its efficiency in terms of translating academic genre. Even the potentials of AI and Google Translate to automate translating text and the variability across type of language and text genre, the current study aims to evaluate their efficiency in aiding the English to Arabic translation process. By identifying their strengths and limitations, the study offers valuable insight to translators on optimizing their workflow. Okay, this is clearly the purpose of the study. In academic writing, the purpose section tells the reader what the study will do, and here the author directly states that the aim is to evaluate and compare ChatGPT and Google Translate for translating academic abstract between English and Arabic. So this part is categorized as purpose because it clearly describes the specific aim to the research. Okay, last but not least, we go through the research question. Finally, the author presents the research question. We can look at this sentence. How do the translational outputs of ChatGPT and Google Translate compare in terms of good quality translate outputs when translating academic abstracts between Arabic and English? Okay, this is a research question. In any academic introduction, this section directly states the specific question the study will attempt to answer, and this question matches exactly with the purpose mentioned before, and it defines what data be collected and compare. Therefore, this is research question because it is the specific problem the study is trying to answer. So I think that's all from me. That is my full analysis of the introduction section of this article, including the structure, content, and reason behind each part. And thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.